Hi.
There, welcome back to English for Specific Purposes for the B2 Plus level. We are your hosts. I'm Mr. Daryl.
And I'm Miss Tatia. მოგესალმებით. კეთილი იყოს თქვენი დაბრუნება ჩვენს ტელესკოლაში. მე თათია ვარ, ეს კი ტერილია. დღევანდელი გაკვეთილის თემა კი მუსიკის ინდუსტრია.
Wow.
I know that you love music, right?
Well, yeah, I do love music very much.
And I think that the lesson will be very interesting for you. But I think that before we move on to the lesson, we need to look at our agenda. What's on our agenda today, Mr. Daryl?
Well, we're going to start with a small discussion. That will be our introduction to the topic. From there, we will go to the vocabulary, which will be useful for the reading text later on. After the reading text, we move to our grammar section, which will be quite interesting. We'll finish off with a summary and also give out some homework.
Seems very interesting. გაკვეთილს როგორც ყოველთვის მცირე შესწავლით დავიწყებთ, შემდეგ შევისწავლით მუსიკის ინდუსტრიასთან დაკავშირებულ ლექსიკას, წავიკითხავთ საინტერესო ტექსტს, ამას მოყვება გრამატიკა და გრამატიკული სავარჯიშოები, შემდეგ შევაჯამებთ გაკვეთილს და საბოლოოდ დავასრულებთ საშინაო დავალებით. I think that we can start, Mr. Daryl, and I'm really interested to know. You told me that just you love music, but I don't know what is your favorite genre of music and how often do you watch, and does music help you to perform any tasks, for example?
That's a good questions. My favorite genre, well, I like a lot of genres. Rock music, even some pop music, classical music, jazz music as well, blues as well, very much so. Now, as to the question of what it helps me to do tasks in the day, when I'm walking long distances, sometimes I walk from work to home and home to work. I like to have music on. It makes it more enjoyable. What about yourself?
You know, I also love music, but I can't say that it plays a big role in my life. Although, when I'm very tired and I want to relax, I turn on music, very soft and slow music, and I listen to it. However, some people say that, for example, when they are working, they listen to some music and it helps them concentrate on their work, which is not true about me. I never listen to anything when I'm working because I really get distracted.
We're teachers as well. It's hard to listen to music at that time. But if you were working in an office and you had something very boring to do, would you listen to music?
I don't think so. I don't think that it would be just the case with me. I would never listen to music when I'm working.
Okay.
Let's start. I think that we have to look at our words now and see what words we have for today. So the first word we have is a gig. Gig is a noun and in Georgian it means pop musikosis gamosula, koncerti. A gig.
Gig, yeah. Well, quite a popular word. A single performance by a musician or a group of musicians, especially modern music, pop music, or even by a comedian, like his one performance.
Okay, a gig, it's a noun, and in Georgian it means pop musikosis gamosla, koncerti. And an example here, the band is going to Atlanta to play a gig at the Fox Theatre. So we can say play a gig, right? Okay, and the next word?
Choir. It's a noun, it's choir, and the definition in English is a group of people who sing together.
Choir, it's a noun, and in Georgian it means saeklesiom galobelta gundi, kapela. Choir. And an example, the school choir practices every Monday lunchtime. It's nice to listen to school choir, right?
Takes a lot of skill. Our next word is chorus. Chorus, and this is the part of the song that's repeated several times with a catchy line or a section.
Chorus is a noun, and in Georgian it means misamgheri. I think that a lot of people sing the chorus because it's easy to remember one or two lines from the song. So chorus, misamgheri. And we have an example here. They burst into a chorus of happy birthday. And the next word we have is tune. Tune is a noun, and in Georgian it means melodia. Tune.
Tune, yeah, it's a good word. It's the melody of the song, the part that most people tend to like about the song.
Okay. Tune. Melodia. And an example here, Sam was humming a little tune.
Usually a happy tune.
Yeah. And the next word we have is conductor. Conductor is a noun, and in Georgian it means dirijori. conductor.
Similar to a director of a movie, a conductor directs the performance of a classical music orchestra and that kind of thing.
Okay. Conductor, it's a noun, and in Georgian it means dirijori. And an example, the conductor raised his baton. And I think that we have finished with the first set of vocabulary, and it's time for the exercise. We have to practice. We will see the sentences with gaps, and we have to fill the sentences with the right word.
I'm looking forward to it. How about I give you the first one?
Yeah, I'm ready.
From the car park, we could hear the distant singing of the church.
I think that the right word should be here, choir.
Again, you are right.
And the sentence would sound this way. From the car park, we could hear the distant singing of the church choir. And the next one for you, Mr. Daryl. I'll sing the verses, and I'd like you to join in the
chorus.
And you're right. And the sentence sounds this way. I'll sing the verses, and I'd like you to join in the chorus.
The next one is, he thumped out a something on the piano.
And I think that the right word here is tune. And the sentence would sound this way. He thumped out a tune on the piano.
Thumped out means he probably played it very heavily and very hard.
Okay.
He has a dual role as composer and
conductor. So the sentence sounds this way. He has dual role as a composer and a conductor. And the last one for you, Mr.
And the last one, I'll just read it out because it's quite obvious that this is, the band is going to Atlanta to play a gig at the Fox Theater.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that we have finished with the first set of vocabulary, and it's time for reading. But I think that before we read a text, we need to know some words which we are going to come across in the text. So let's look at our set of vocabulary, second set of vocabulary, and our first word is royalties. Royalties is a noun, and in Georgian it's translated as savtoro honorari.
So important for musicians, the royalties that they get paid for their work. The definition of royalties is a payment that's made to writers, people who have invented things, owners of property, musicians, every time that their books or devices or whatever products are bought or used by others.
Royalties, it's a noun, and in Georgian it means savtoro honorari. He has received royalties on previous inventions. So for inventions, the inventors also get royalties.
And songwriters and lots of things.
And maybe screenwriters also.
Kind of, if it's ever used consistently.
Okay. And the next word we have is?
Embark, the verb to embark. And this is to begin a course of action, to start out on some journey or whatever.
Okay. Embark is a verb, and in Georgian it means საქმის დაწყება. ან რაიმე აქტივობის დაწყება. Embark. And we have an example here. She embarked on a new career. It means that she started a new career.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next word we have is?
Buy into. To buy into. And this means to completely believe in a set of ideas. You have no resistance, you just believe it.
Okay, buy into, it's a phrasal verb, and in Georgian it's translated as დაჯერება. Buy into. And we have an example here. Willingham claims to buy into that theory to a point. It means that he believes to the theory.
He believes it, but to a point. There's a line he won't cross.
Yeah. Okay.
Drift away is our next phrasal verb, to drift away. And the meaning is to lose personal contact with someone over time.
Okay, to drift away is a phrasal verb again, and in Georgian it means განშორება. Drift away. სხვადასხვა გზით მიმართულებით წასვლა. Okay, and we have a good example here. Andrea and I never had a big fight or anything. We just drift away from each other over the years, and now I hardly ever see her.
Has that happened to you in real life? Have you drifted away from previous close friends?
No, not fortunately. I keep contact with all my friends from childhood, from the university, and I'm really fortunate about it.
And our last word is earnings. Earnings. And the definition is the business profits that you make from your work or business.
Earnings is a noun, and in Georgian it means shemosavali. And here we have a very good example. Overseas earnings accounted for 9% of the total last year. And I think that we have finished with the second set of vocabulary. It's time to move on to reading, read a text. But before we read a text, I would like to ask you, do you think that the music industry can be attractive for investors? Have you ever thought about it?
The music industry recently, in the last 10 years, I'd say, not so much. I feel not so much because there's not, it's not like it used to be. People used to buy albums. They used to go to the shops, buy the albums. Now people download music, so it brings back less profits, I feel. So I could be wrong. I don't know.
I'm not sure about it, so I think that we need to read the text and find out some more about music industry and whether it's attractive for the investors or not. Music industry veteran Mercuriadis started the company Hypnosis. It offers investors the chance to make money from the royalties produced by thousands of songs by famous artists. Mercuriadis believes that songs like Living on a Prayer, Heart of Glass, and Copacabana are more valuable than gold. Mercuriadis, the former manager of artists including Elton John and Guns N' Roses, launched the company in 2018 and has since spent about £700 million buying the rights to more than 13,000 songs. Popular songs provide a reliable income, he says, after announcing 2 more deals, buying 197 Blondie songs and more than 900 Barry Manilow tunes. When I say it's as good or better than gold or oil, it's because it's unrelated to what is happening in the world, says Mercuriadis. If people are living their best lives, they are celebrating with the soundtrack of music. Equally, if they are experiencing the sort of challenges we have been experiencing this year, they are escaping and finding comfort in music.
That's a very good point. Whether you're depressed or whether you're happy, you tend to go to music. People always want music. Gold is something that only a few can buy, but a £10 Spotify or Apple monthly subscription is something pretty much everyone can afford. And as we have seen during the pandemic, those subscriptions have increased because people have been looking for comfort. Mercuriadis grew up in Nova Scotia, Canada, then moved to London, where he still lives to embark on a career in music. Now 56, he has spent nearly 40 years in the music industry. He is a champion of artists, something he learned working for Sir Richard Branson in his first job. The idea of buying into the past success of an artist is not new. In the 1990s, the public was given the chance to invest in David Bowie's popularity by purchasing Bowie bonds. These were 10-year bonds backed by Bowie's future royalty earnings from songs released before 1993 with an attractive interest rate of 7.9%.
However, as fans drifted away from record stores in the early 2000s, owners of Bowie bonds saw their investment tank. Streaming is breathing new life into the industry after more than a decade of falling CD sales, and music is becoming successful again. In 2019, global music sales increased for the 5th consecutive year to $20.2 billion, thanks to a 23% increase in streaming, having hit a low of $14 billion in 2013. By the end of 2025, there will be more than 450 million subscribers to paid music services, including Apple, Amazon, and Spotify. Mercuriadis is planning to spend £2 billion to £3 billion buying a total of 60,000 songs, and believes that his investors will then own assets worth 30 times earnings thanks to the streaming revolution. I can't play the guitar, I can't sing a song, I can't write a song, he says, but I take my responsibility of doing business very, very seriously. I make people believe in what I believe in. Championing the artist, song and music will take you a long way in our business. It might also prove to be very profitable.
It's good to know because musicians suffer often not making enough money and not making the money they deserve because people download, it's so easy to download music.
I have always thought about it, that it's not fair to download music for free.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that it's time to practice. We will see these statements and we are going to decide if the statements are true or false. And the first one, I will read the statement and try to guess if the statement is true or false. Mark Mercuriadis believes investing in music is as good as or better than investing in gold or oil. And I think that the statement is true, because I remember we read, when I say it's as good or better than gold or oil, it's because it's unrelated to what is happening in the world, says Mercuriadis.
Excellent, that was true. Here's the next sentence. Gold is something that everyone can buy. I remember this kind of clearly, it's false. And if I check the appropriate text, it says the following. People always want music. Gold is something that only a few can buy. But a £10 Spotify or Apple monthly subscription is something pretty much anyone can afford.
Yeah, you're right. So I also remember that passage. Now, next statement. Global music sales have increased for the last 5 years in a row. And I remember that this statement is true because we read, in 2019, global music sales increased for the 5th consecutive year to £20.2 billion. Thanks to a 23% increase in streaming, having hit a low of $14 billion in 2013.
So a little bit of good news. Here's the last one. Mercuriadis is a singer, songwriter, and musician. Now, I believe that is false. If I recall clearly, he says, I can't play the guitar, I can't sing a song, I can't write a song, so he's not a musician. But I take my responsibility of doing business very, very seriously. So he's a businessman.
He's a businessman, not a musician. Okay, I think that it was very interesting text, and it's time to move on to grammar. And today we're going to talk about be and get used to. At the previous lesson, we talked about used to and how and when we have to use it. But today we are going to talk about be and get used to. So the structures be used to and get used to are used to talk about being accustomed to something or getting accustomed to something. Get used to talks about the process, whilst be used to talks about the results. Let's look at the example. When Giovanni moved to London from Italy, it took him long to get used to the cold, so to get accustomed to the cold. For Ivan, who moved from Moscow to London, the cold was not a problem because he was used to it. Okay, it was not something new for him.
Very good. So as you can see, the be or get used to structure can be used with a noun. He was used to the cold. He got used to the cold. This structure can also be used with the ing form. For example, I am used to driving in the rain. This person is used to driving in the rain. Or I'm getting used to driving in the rain. He's in the process of getting used to driving in the rain.
So used to is either followed by a noun or a verb in ing form. Tommy's used to hard work, or Tommy's used to working hard. Or Peter used to noisy cities, Peter is used to living in noisy cities. Get used to means that in the beginning a situation was strange or unusual, but is not anymore or will soon stop being strange or unusual because of a passage in time. When David moved to Japan, it took him a while to get used to the food.
Be or get used to is used in all tenses. Now that I have been living in Egypt for 10 years, I am used to the heat. Since I moved to the city, I have got used to the noise. When I first moved to Italy, I wasn't used to eating so much pasta, and I don't think I will get used to waking up early.
So, Mr. Joe, what did you have to get used to when you moved to Georgia from Canada?
You know what? I had to get used to the, I will say, this very adventurous driving style of people on the roads. It wasn't so in Canada. People drive a little bit more, I don't know how to say it, maybe aggressively or a little bit more forcefully.
Ah, okay. I think that there might be some other things also which you had to get used to when you moved to.
It would take a full
Georgia.
episode.
Yes, to talk about your cultural shock, right?
That's right.
Okay, I think that it's time to practice this grammar part, and we will see these sentences with gaps and two options, and we have to choose the right option which would suit the sentence. So the first one, Tom drove everywhere. He's going to need time to, then there is a gap, walking. And the options are A, be used to, and got used to. I think that the best choice here would be get used to, and the sentence would sound this way. Tom drove everywhere. He's going to need time to get used to walking because he's not used to it, right? Okay.
Very good. Here's the next sentence. I, and there's a gap. Then it says, using my phone to listen to music yet. Now, yet is the key word there. That indicates that it should be negative. And so I would choose from the two answers, A being am used to and B being am not used to, I would choose B. I am not using my phone to listen to music yet.
And you're right, Mr. Joe. The next one, David is extremely stressed. He hasn't, then there is a gap, working so hard. It means that he's not in the habit of working so hard. And there are two options, got used to and used to. I would choose answer A, and I would say the sentence this way. David is extremely stressed. He hasn't got used to working so hard.
Excellent. This winter isn't so bad. There's a gap here, much colder weather. We have two choices, A and B. A is are used to, and B is get used to. Here, if I think about it now, I would say the answer is A. This winter isn't so bad. We are used to much colder weather.
Okay, and I think that we have finished the grammar part too, and it's time for homework. What's homework for today, Mr. Joe?
The homework is we'd like you to write a paragraph about your favorite genre of music.
Very interesting.
Those answers, Ms. Tatia, can be uploaded to the address you see on the screen right now.
Okay, let's wait for the answers. But now I think that we have to say goodbye to the audience and wait for the next lesson.
Well, until next time, goodbye.
So stay with us and keep on learning. Bye.
Bye.